We're staying in Maui. We just talked about the fact that now the state is going to go after the fundraisers, try to shut it down. They're trying to give themselves more emergency proclamation powers and stuff. And that's something that's been going on for quite some time.
Hey, remember when 9/11 happened and the government who didn't protect us from that? Mm-hmm. At best, they totally screwed that up. Then we're allowed to have all these crazy new laws to protect us. Yeah. Then went on to act like they've protected us.
That's what
George Bush, that one time.
George Bush Jr. said they never attacked us again, Kurt. And then because they had the Patriot Act, they had all these other laws. You know, they had so many laws come out of that whole situation.
Now we only have to worry about incel violence. Thank you, George W.
Well, the whole thing is that no matter what, when it comes to a crisis situation, disaster capitalism kicks in. The leeches, the vultures, they come right out. They know how to act, to go grab the land, to get the people off there, whatnot. So, like we saw with COVID, all these emergency proclamations, we're seeing a lot of that stuff happening in Hawaii, okay? So this is right here. Just the other day, this on Tuesday, this is again by the Star Advisor. Testifiers blast Green and Chang for water decisions after Lahaina fire. Remember the guy we talked about that they were showing, he was talking about equity in water and whatnot, and they were trying to blame him? Yes. Well, it turns out that they sacked him, they demoted him, they sent him off. But the people, the state, you know, the citizens were like, no, you can't do that. Only the citizens can shelve him. And first of all, it looks like you're playing him off as a patsy, where a lot of the things he was doing really didn't lead to the fact that the water was turned off. I mean, they hired him as a patsy. Well, maybe.
Nobody would hire an idiot like that unless they're there as a tool.
Well, he was fighting for equity in water when it came to the. I know when you say equity in water, it's different though, because you're talking about people.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that.
The indigenous farmers. Yes. The indigenous farmers and the locals were trying to get the water. But in Maui for so long, years and years and years, from what I heard from my contacts over there and the people I interviewed, activists and locals and whatnot, is there's been a water diversion away from Lahaina for quite some time into the golf courses, into the rich areas, leaving the conditions. So it's just a massive fireball.
By the way,
tinderbox.
Very few people would disagree with that.
Yeah.
Those words that these people learn at Queef school of like equity, they're all poison.
Yeah.
People will not listen to a genuine, solid point. Like my first knee-jerk reaction when I hear that, shut up. And I agree with what you just said.
Yeah.
They got to kill these words, man.
So they should, right? But I had something in my mind. We also had somebody sent me an email and said there's a little bit more to the whole situation. What that guy did really didn't affect the outcome of what's going on. Oh. In fact,
did they put that out so you'd blame him?
Well, that's what I think they did, because they say it over here in this article. So this Tuesday, it was in a board meeting or a city council meeting or a state meeting in Honolulu. I don't know exactly what it was, but they all showed up and they were complaining about the fact that they want this guy back. They want to talk because it seems like he has a lot of answers, like the answers to the biggest problem over there. And you'll see this in the movie, Lahaina on Fire. Water, that's the biggest issue, right? Fred Hampton, we're not going to fight fire with fire. We're going to fight fire with water. It's the biggest thing. Well, the water was turned off. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Why was it turned off? Why didn't it work? Why were the hydrants not working properly? When did you test the system last? What's going on?
Can he not? Okay, if he's fired, can't he still answer questions?
He wasn't fired.
Oh.
He was sacked and moved and sent somewhere else unknown.
Sacked?
They made him step down. I use the term sack because it's a British term.
That means fired.
No. I mean, you can say he was just he was demoted and sent elsewhere.
Oh, demoted and sacked are different. Okay, so wait a minute.
So I shouldn't say sacked. He was demoted and sent elsewhere.
In Britain, does it mean not fired? Okay, well, so yeah. So they moved him and he's hidden somewhere?
You better believe it. You're going to watch this.
Are you joking? Oh.
Well, let me read this. State Land Board Chair Don Chang said Tuesday that the Commission on Water Resource Management is committed to regulating groundwater and surface water in West Maui to ensure that the resource is fairly allocated. So there's been this whole time where they said it hasn't been fairly allocated. They were diverting rivers and streams and all this water to the rich areas, to the golf courses. But that water guy that we had talked about, Kaleo Manuel, he was at the forefront and fighting to make sure that the indigenous farmers and all these other people could get their water. But Deputy Director Kaleo Manuel, who served as the commission's executive director, continues to be on the outs despite overwhelming support from the standing room only crowd that spilled out of the State Department of Land and Natural Resources boardroom in Honolulu.
So that guy was trying to make sure they had water, and that's all being blamed on him.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
He was at the head of it, Kaleo Manuel. And they're silencing him.
And so
the
he's gotta
government.
take the hit. Yeah, wow.
So they're just trying to play it up. This guy was the reason why.
Oh, redeploy.
Yep,
wow.
Here it is. Look, ready. Declaring it a personal issue, Chang said she would not talk about the action to redeploy Manuel in the wake of the massive wildfire that roared through the heart of Lahaina on August 8th, killing at least 97 people. Look at this. Personal issue. It's a personal issue, Kurt. I can't talk about it.
No, Craig. Personnel issue.
Oh, personnel issue.
It was a personnel issue.
It's a personnel issue.
He's needed as a scapegoat.
Not a personnel issue.
Yeah.
In the immediate aftermath of the fire, Governor Josh Green suspended the state water code in an emergency proclamation, which led to a suspension of interim in-stream flow standards established by the Commission for the Lahaina Aquifer Sector Area Water Management Area last summer. So what happened was, right after all the situation happened, he enacted some emergency powers again, and all the rules and laws that were put into place have now been seized. So a lot of people are looking at it. There's a story coming in, because I also took from The Guardian, in which they said, one person was very nervous. She said, when this happens, now the leeches are going to come in and they're going to be able to grab this water for good. Right? It's a big problem. Manuel was transferred to a different division, and Green, in his comments to the media, said the water restrictions prevented the use of water to fight the fire, and suggested he would support the reversal of the designation of the West Maui Water Management Area. So now they're going to get
the water back. So, wow, this is really diabolical, man.
It is diabolical as hell. The actions riled Native Hawaiians, Lahaina community members, and water activists across the state. And on Tuesday, dozens of the Lahaina and Maui community members descended on the commission's September meeting, harshly criticizing Green and Chang.
Wow, they screwed that guy hard.
Yep.
I guess everybody else too, by the way.
Let me get this over here really quick. Moreover, more than 300 pages of written testimony were submitted to the commission, nearly all of it urging the board to reinstate Manuel and to honor the designation of the water management area and its in-stream flow standards that help Kaleo farmers get the water they needed. So he was fighting for that water to stop being diverted to the golf courses, to the rich areas, and they had gotten to it. But wait, if you want to talk about diabolical, it gets even better. In the opening moments of the meeting that lasted for nearly 10 hours, Chang reminded the audience that the water code was reestablished by Green in a subsequent emergency proclamation on September 8th. She also said the commission staff is now working to move the water management area forward. Last summer, the Water Commission designated the entire Lahaina Aquifer region as both a surface water and groundwater management area, and a deadline for applications for water access, August 7th, the day before the Lahaina fire. So people were able to go and start, filling out applications to get water to their towns, to get water to farms, and those applications were due on August 7th. The fire happened on August 8th.
Wow, I finally understand the crime from the movie Chinatown.
You do?
I never understood what was going on.
Yeah. And
it
now
just
you
hit
do.
me what, yeah.
Native Hawaiians, water advocates, and environmentalists in West Maui and across the islands for decades have been fighting to reverse the way water has been diverted from downstream users, a practice that was started by the large plantations in the 1800s. They've been fighting to get this water to their areas for quite some time. They finally got a little victory, and the applications were due on August 7th, and then here comes the fire on August 8th.
I mean, you can't really call it vulture capitalism, because I don't think I think vultures comes in after you're dead. They don't kind of plan out your death, right?
They send the Well, that's the whole thing, right?
Come on, man.
Okay, so check this out here.
Oh, by the way, I'm supposed to announce Russell Brand's guilty, but be like, no, we don't know that they did that.
Yeah.
With this kind of evidence, I'm supposed to go, come on, that's irresponsible to say they wanted these people to take all their water. But you better jump on the flimsiest, because they're serious accusations. You better jump on them for some unbelievable.
They know how to divert your attention. The way the other people diverted water, they know how to divert your attention.
Yeah, attention is like water.
Yeah.
It has to be stolen by large corporations.
Why was there no water to fight the fire in Maui? Big corporations, golf courses, and hotels have been taking water from locals for years.
Oh, she wrote,
now the fire may result in even more devastating
she
water
wrote Vulture
theft.
Capitalism, right? Naomi Klein?
Yep. Well, she wrote, what was the book she wrote? It wasn't Vulture Capitalism.
She's the one.
Was it? It was something else I thought it was called.
They're different.
I think she used the term vulture capitalism.
Oh, I thought the book was called that.
It wasn't. She didn't write the shock doctrine. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, shock doctrine.
Okay.
Oh,
so
maybe it's about it.
So this is the Guardian. So here, together the communities have been fighting for the right to manage their own water rather than watch as it is diverted for often frivolous uses. June 2020 saw a historic victory heading the overwhelming demands of the Native Hawaiians and other residents. The Water Commission voted unanimously to designate West Maui as a surface and groundwater management area. In other words, they were now going to be able to get water to their areas. They had to fight for this for years. I don't think it's frivolous
that Oprah needs her mansion moistened.
Yes, and all those things. Under Hawaii's water code, this designation invokes the Commission's permitting authority to protect priority Native Hawaiian rights and the environment over the historical and ongoing overexploitation of water by plantations and developers. After a protracted struggle and despite predictable opposition from industry, the community and the Water Commission prevailed, instituting a new permitting system that the community hoped would restore public control over water that had been stolen for over a century. So this is interesting too as well, because they talk about these indigenous people, these local people who suffered. The Palakiko, I was getting ready to get that, Palakiko family and others began filling out water use permits, applications, requesting water for their household needs, like bathing their babies, because she had told a story that they were so low on water and the water being diverted that she had to wash her baby in a bucket. Like, it was so limited in water, and a lot of the farmers were complaining, the indigenous people, and also water for the indigenous wetland agriculture. There it is. But here's the cruelest irony. The deadline to submit those permit applications to the Water Commission was on Monday, August 7th. And the fire that devoured Lahaina was the very next day.
This is about water theft.
This is what it's about. The Hawaii Governor's Administration wasted no time in issuing an emergency proclamation that suspended a series of law, including Hawaii's state water code, to the extent necessary to respond to the emergency. So he's saying we have to suspend all these rules. We have to take control of the water. So even though we're going to give these permits for these people to get that stuff.
So they know it's all dry out there. They withhold the water. Oh my God.
Listen, somebody had told me, because there's all this argument of what started the fire. Some people are like laser, energy weapons. Somebody said to me, goes, why would I have to use a space laser when I can just go up there with a flare and drop it in there? Because they let these areas.
They stole all the water.
They stole the water. They created the tinderbox, and then they just let it go. And those hurricane winds, 90 miles per hour, just made this fire rip right through it. This is the story. Now, there's more to it, and this is why you have to watch the movie, because people are suspecting. There's a reason why they also want this guy just not back there. They don't want him answering questions on why there was so many problems with the water system. When was it tested? Why didn't it work?
Oh, he's like a January 6th cop.
He's pretty much, there's a lot of answers this guy can provide to the community, and they're trying to hide it and play it off as him being the patsy. He's the one who caused it. He's been fired.
That video of him, and like I said, the word equity is poison.
Yeah.
So that guy saying that back then about a thing I would totally agree with.
Yes.
Wow, that's really crazy.
I know that, but see, that was the whole key. Like, and that's once again the conservative buzzword, right? They saw that equity. This asshole should be sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Pavlov response.
No, he was actually, and I've said this before when it comes to water. I believe that we should have free, fair, and transparent elections, because I believe that our elected officials should represent the people, and corporations should never own things that we need, resources like water.
What about public-private partnership?
I don't want that. I don't want Nestle controlling our water.
You don't want Nestle to control the water, and someone from England can make a call to have you fired.
Or write a letter. But I'll be on Rumble, so I'll be protected. But that's what this is about. This story is more about the diversion for water for quite some time. Yeah. The plantation successors leapt into action, attempting to end the run around the designation process that they had been unsuccessful in stopping before the emergency proclamation. In the days after the fires, WML demanded the Water Commission suspend protections for streams across Maui, Komohana, even in the areas untouched by fire, and instituted the Commission's Deputy Director, Kaleo Manuel, who had been the agency's public face throughout the designation process, was to blame for the destructive fire. So he was the face of them fighting to get that water. They got it. They were filling out their applications. Fire comes the next day. Emergency proclamations. We're stopping with these new laws. Now they're going to be able to grab a hold of that water again.
Yeah, now I know. This is what I mean. If I was him, I would quit and then go blab. But I thought he was fired. I didn't know. Like, if he did that,
he was redeployed.
Yeah, if he did that bad a job, where it should be blamed on him, why would you redeploy him anywhere?
Yeah, that's the thing. But now, because now he's officially he's officially still working for the state, so and they put a gag order on him. Then on Wednesday, with searches for survivors still very much underway, the administration announced it was redeploying Manuel, effectively relieving him of all duties and banishing him to an unknown different post. The move has left the commission without an administrative leader.
Well, so they got rid of the guy that was going to make them...
Who could provide a lot of information, could give a lot of transparency.
These plantation families have been there for hundreds of years.
Yes.
This is like...
And they were fighting to get this water. Yeah. And they got him redeployed, right? To an unknown different post.
Every single stupid MSNBC viewer who was not even probably looking into this, they're watching MSNBC, like when they always blather about colonialism.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. Yeah. You could be upset about it happening right now. Yep. They always want to talk about a long time ago and then, pop culture.
Tuesday, all the citizens showed up. They want him back. They want him back on the island. They want him to talk. You know what I'm saying? And there are some people that I talked about, like, oh, this guy has to, he has to face charges if he did anything wrong. But there were other people who were telling me, like, no, we think that they're hiding him for some reason because he's going to provide some clarity.
Yeah, obviously.
Right?
Obviously.
He's got answers and stuff. But they have him sacked, and this is a big... We still don't know why the water was turned off in Lahaina as the fires were blazing.
Well, yeah, we do. They were diverted away from the... They couldn't even bathe their children, it sounds like.
Yeah, in certain places and stuff. Sad situation. Anything else before we get on to some more super chats?
That's actually 1,000 times more evil than a laser from space on purpose.
Yeah.
That's like so much more devilish of a thing on every level than anything I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild, dude.
In some of the board meetings, they were asking people like Chang and Green, what are your connections to global entities? We know that Josh Green was a keynote speaker for 15-minute sustainable cities at the UN just less than 2 months before this whole fire took place. Then you have all this whole situation now where they're sacking people. Well, I don't want to say sacking, redeploying them, unknown spots.
But sacking does not mean redeploying.
Sorry, my bad. They're gagging their voices. They're not allowing them to speak. They're not allowing them to provide transparency, and they're playing them off as if this guy is the cause of those fires. Josh Green had blamed this guy in another board meeting before and saying,
"Is
we're
anyone
taking
else reporting this anywhere besides the Guardian and you
and us? That's it.
Nobody else redacted, maybe."
I haven't seen Redacted, and I saw a video the other day with RFK and Edward Dowd talk about some stuff. Nobody's even talking about this. In my video, coming this Friday, a week from today, a woman by the name of Tia Leah, who does a lot of work with the mosquitoes, the Bill Gates-style mosquitoes on the islands that they're now letting go in Maui. They said they're going to let them out in Maui because they said they want to preserve some of the bird species there, and some of the mosquitoes are harming it. So they're doing these kind of like genetically modified mosquitoes.
So they're testing out those mosquitoes on them now.
Yeah. She does a lot of work on that in that story, right? She's looking into the water situation. She's been going and asking for answers. Why did the water turn off? When was the last time you tested the system? How does it work? What are the fail safes? They want all these answers. They're not getting any of these answers, Kurt. Like I said, the previous stuff, what led to the Tinderbach conditions, no transparency there. They're hiding the truth. The crisis itself, why did so many things fail? No transparency. They're hiding the truth.
What about the big black fence? Is that still up?
Still up.
Boy, they got amazing border crisis. Managed to get a whole hiding fence up real quick, huh?
Yeah, get the people behind of it. But that's what's going on right now in Lahaina and Maui, and we're gonna have more to report on it. Lahaina on fire, the aftermath. Watch it next week. We'll give you all the information.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Tampa, Boca Raton, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, San Diego, Bloomington, Illinois, Indianapolis, and Levittown, New York. Wow, that's a lot of dates. See you there.